Hello and welcome, Whale Fam, to another episode of Artist Fireside Chat. I'm your host, HeatherHrz, and I'm here with Elec. He's a young 3D artist on the Chronic competitive gaming team, and he's a new face in the NFT space, making a name for himself through his otherworldly digital dreamscapes and cheeky crypto commentary. Really happy to have you here. How are you doing, Elec?
I'm doing great. Just chilling, thinking of ideas, just enjoying my day. How about you?
Awesome. I'm really excited to be here and learn more about you. It's really nice to get a perspective from new artists in the space because, things are just kind of happening at lightning speed. So do you want to start by just telling us a little bit how you were first introduced to the crypto art space?
It really started with my buddies who started RetroCoin, who they have their own little thing. They're on super rare. They're going crazy. They're nuts. I love them to death. So originally they introduced me to the crypto art world, but we go way, way, way back, all the way to about a couple years ago, 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, around there. We all really started making video game art. That's where we all came together. Like it's this specific game called Fortnite, which I did thumbnails on that game for about a couple years, and I started getting really good, and I started working with huge content creators, like YouTubers with millions of subscribers, and it just got really crazy. Like all of a sudden I'm talking
Wow.
to people I was watching since I was a kid. It was really surreal to me. And then fast forward a couple years, I kept doing that. It really helped with my practice and just getting better at overall 3D art, my lighting and everything. So fast forward a couple years, RetroCoin has started, and they start talking to me like, "Oh, you really need to get into the NFT space. It's going to blow up soon. This is the next big thing for artists." I was like, "All right, I'll do it."
When was this?
This is around January-ish,
Oh,
early.
wow. So not too long ago.
Yeah, it was not long ago at all. And at first, I experimented with an Oreo ad. I was like, I love Oreos. I might as well just do an ad or something. And it really just all started there. And then I just kept going and going, just finding new things to practice on, and I'm here now.
That looks like the regular. I was gonna ask you. I was like, did you actually get hired to do some Oreo work, or this was just practice? Because it looks exactly like the practice.
It's just practice.
It's awesome. Yeah. How long have you been making 3D art? Are you self-taught? Did you go to school?
I'm 16 at the moment, so I really can't find much education except YouTube.
So young. This work looks like, there's people twice your age that are, trying to attain this level of, tightness in their work. Here's a little bit of work in progress. That's awesome. So you're only 16. So when have you, did you start when you were 5? What happened?
I could only wish. If I started at 5, I would be amazing, even more now. Since I'm in high school now, I'm a sophomore. I started in middle school around 7th grade. I'm trying to remember how old I was. I think I was around 12 or 13. And like I said, it really all started with that love for video games. I just loved video games as a kid. It was my biggest passion. If I wasn't doing art, I would probably be pursuing a video game career, making videos or something with my friends. And I just loved video games, and it all started with just making small art with video game stuff, or just taking screenshots and putting them together in Photoshop, and then it just slowly expanded into something bigger. And I just met crazy people that taught me crazy tricks or how to get better, and I really only learned off YouTube. And of course, I asked my friends what they think of my art, really good artists, and they give me opinions and criticisms, and I really do take it seriously, and I try my best to take those criticism into my own work and bring it to light.
Yeah, I mean, it really looks like you are spending a lot of time honing your craft. So I can't imagine, 5-10 years from now where you're going to be at. And I can see you slowly developing your own. You've already got your own style. So it'll be really interesting to see, how that blossoms. So I noticed that you're a 3D artist with the Chronic team. So how did that start, and what's it like working with them?
Uh, it really, I think my at first I started grinding for Chronic because this was back before I started doing NFT work and like really branching out. So as a thumbnail artist, I like Chronic was like the biggest thing in like this little community of Fortnite that was in like it was like the biggest thing you could be in. Like it was the top of the pyramid. I was like, you know what? I really want to set a bar for myself. I really want to go all the way up there. And after 6 months of just like continuously bettering myself, bettering my work, and just having a blast, I finally made it in. It's still crazy when I think about it. Like I worked so hard for it and I actually got it.
And you're only 16 years old. Like, that's crazy to me. So you're at the top of the chain for people doing Fortnite thumbnails and work, and I'm sure that they're expanding their team too. So I'm curious, like, so you're super into Fortnite, but what are your biggest creative inspirations and influences? Like, what's like your conceptual process behind, creating these scenes that you create?
Oh man, my biggest inspiration, it has to be probably Blizzy from RetroCoin, all the RetroCoin boys, because they really pushed me like to where I. If it wasn't for them, I would not be here right now. Like, man, to think about all the times I almost quit or like something came up and they're like, no, 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 you got to keep going, you got to keep going. There's something for you. So eventually, it's like, oh, they pushed me harder, and then like I have like huge artists that I used to look up to, and they all talk to me on a daily basis now. It's just surreal to think about.
That's so cool. So it must be awesome, like working with people that you respect and had admired as a kid. I was gonna say as a kid, but you're pretty young as it is. But yeah, it's always nice to work with people that you respect and admire, and who respect you and who encourage you and push you in a healthy way. Yeah. So I'm curious, like, what piece or project in your work has been like the biggest learning experience for you, and also like what was the most challenging, if that was a different piece?
There was a lot of challenging pieces that really frustrated me. And it wasn't really mostly the piece itself. Well, sometimes it was because with the samurai piece, I had a lot of difficulty in animating it. I was like, how do I get this thing to animate? And then other times it was just like a PC issue where like just things would not load or something wouldn't load together with this thing. And probably one of my biggest frustrations or scariest moments was like my rotting nostalgia piece. Like I finished it, everything was looking good, and then it just wouldn't render. Like no one can render it. I
Oh
got
no.
yeah, it was terrible. I got people with like 3080 GPUs and they couldn't render it, so I had to get a whole render farm. It was just bad. I was just, I was stuck for like
uh
a couple days.
that must make you want to cry, like after hours and hours of work, and then like, but at least I'm glad you found a way out, because this is a really cool piece. And I see that you're saying it's a piece about how our favorite things from childhood are slowly rotting away in our memories. But there's something that's very lush about this piece. It's like I don't see them as rotting. I see them as, becoming like part of this world, and there's growth coming from those memories, if that makes sense. I don't know. That was how I was seeing it. Plus, I really miss Super Nintendo and Legos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to play Mario Kart and Super Mario with my friends for hours and hours
Oh,
on
I love
that.
those
Like,
games.
yeah, and I just remember like being super frustrated as like a 7 or 8 year old trying to beat Super Mario,
I
staying
can
up till
feel
four
you.
o'clock.
I can feel you. Like just family time with like the Wii, it got too competitive. It got too competitive. Ew, oh my God. I miss those times.
Yeah. Well, it's cool that, and I like that there's like kind of putting out these like nostalgia consoles too. Like they're putting out, the SNES as it was. It seems like, at least I thought I saw that. I mean, there's definitely emulators, but I've noticed that like around Christmas time they have like all these old consoles with the same build. So it's cool. Like, people in my generation are nostalgic for those things, and we will definitely give all our money to that stuff to relive our childhood.
Yeah.
Um, so you work with a Chronic team, which sounds like it's a dream collaboration for you, but is there anybody else who you would love to work with or do like an NFT collaboration with?
Oh, that's tough. Uh, there's a lot of people I respect, and one of my bigger inspirations is probably Parrot. I just love everything about his pieces, his lighting, his composition. I just love his pieces, and also Ferocious. Like I just love his paintings, all his colors. It's just so good.
Yeah, and their energy is so great. Like they're just such a genuine, humble person. And I just love seeing all the good stuff happening for Ferocious. Like, yeah, and their colors are insane. Like it's just like eye candy every time. But
Yeah, they're crazy with it. I don't know
yeah,
how they do it.
no, and the pieces are so, moving, like emotionally moving too. I feel really like connected to their work. I like them a lot. So you're new into the space. Like, are there any challenges or like things that you wish you knew maybe in January as a newbie to minting NFTs?
Probably the biggest one is patience, patience, and patience. Like I see a lot of impatient people like, oh, they get so caught up in the space because everything's moving so fast. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I wish I just knew that like I just need to just chill and just do my own thing. And probably what I should have known earlier is to develop my own style faster and quicker and start thinking like I don't know how to describe it, but like get my own lane type thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like I can see like maybe some like people influences here, but like like in this piece a little bit, but it's still yours, and these are icons from that like are so ubiquitous that like yeah, they're copywritten images, but there's something that there's like a collective connection to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also I'm of two minds about this idea that you have to have your style so that like every time somebody sees something by you, they know right away it's by you. Because I feel like as artists, we change over time, and even every moment to moment, the style that we choose to create something in might change based on the subject that we're working with or the mood that we're trying to convey. So over time, like you're only 16, so I'm sure in 10 years like you might have different like subsets of styles, the way like Picasso had his blue period and like started doing things differently, or you can look at a body of work by known artists, and they're known for like a handful of their pieces, but when you really go into their history, you see that there's so much going on. It's like not just one way of creating art. So I feel like you got to like give yourself a little bit of what's the word, like a little bit of slack with like finding what your style is and exploring different things, or else it might get stagnant. As an artist, it might feel like, oh, I'm tired of doing the same thing. But
Yeah, I see your point. Yeah, I agree.
and I know with 3D art too, like it's because there's a lot of 3D artists out there, I think maybe there's that pressure there for you to do something like crazy different. I don't know, because for illustration and like fine art, there's like the physical mediums that create like different worlds and feelings. So but even with 3D art, there's 3D art that just looks like it's like an actual painting sometimes. Like I don't realize that that is not a real texture sometimes. I don't know if that's my getting old eyes, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's something that can just like trip up young artists, is this idea that like you have to like do one thing forever. Like you can always evolve and change. So let me see. I have a couple of questions, but I also noticed there's a questions in the Discord for you. So let me see. Zach is Japin Apple is asking, are there any artist style that you see in your own style? And they asked a similar question, like what type of collaborations are you open to, or what would you wish to do? Like, I guess they're asking, like, would you be interested in doing like music videos or something outside of what you've done so far? Different mediums.
My main inspirations for my art, that's tough because I draw inspiration from everywhere. Like I see this, I'm like, oh, that's so cool, and I see that, and I'm like, oh, that's amazing. It's just I draw inspiration from a lot of places. For example, for like my Eternal collection, I draw inspiration from Annabelle with like his like dystopian and utopia scenes. I was like, I want to get that aspect, but like something else, and that's how I came out with those animations. And
did you do the sound design on these too? I'll turn the sound on for a second so people can hear.
What I basically did is I just got a bunch of YouTube audio and I put them together and I mixed them together. So I guess you can kind of say I did it, but I also didn't do it. It's just working with what I got.
Yeah, but that's cool. Like you kind of like sampled and remixed sounds that you found to make it your own thing.
Yeah.
Like you DJ'd the sound, basically.
Yeah.
These are really cool. I like the feeling that I get, just like I keep like anticipating that I'm gonna go into something else, but it's like this like really cool loop. Is there like a significance to the different shapes that you used in like versus Eternal Solitude versus the Eternal Gratitude?
So when I was thinking of Eternal Gratitude, I wanted to have a similar vibe to Eternal Solitude. Like I want them to be like sort of the same thing but not. So I was like, instead of a square or rectangular type shape, I started to go circle just to keep that same vibe but also a different shape. And for Eternal Solitude, which was the original piece, like it really came from like a really great moment of just solitude. Like I had nothing going for me, I had no ideas. Like I was just sitting in a Discord call with my buddies crying I had no ideas for like 2 weeks. It was bad.
What do you do when you get stuck like that? Because I feel like we all have been there as artists, and that length of time that we're stuck and like don't know what to do can be a couple of hours, or it could be a couple weeks or months sometimes. So like, what do you do to get out of your head?
Man, like when I get in that state, it's bad. Like I'm just sitting there complaining and just staring at the Blender cube for hours. Like I don't know, I just go through a lot of art. I try to get people to motivate me, and I just go on ArtStation and I scroll for hours and hours, see if there's something that can bring the artist out of me again.
Yeah, it helps to look at other people that like you get excited about looking at their work, and then it sometimes can spark something. And then I think sometimes when you look at other people you admire, you're just like, why can't I just make something awesome like they do? Like like it's like this fine line between like getting inspired and then like making yourself feel more stuck because you're comparing yourself too much. Like you can't like compare your progress to other people's progress, especially
that's so hard.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Especially not in the NFT space. Like there's, like you said, the patience is a real key ingredient to having a good time while being in the NFT space. Being patient, being consistent, making the time to get to know other artists, and not being too hung up on perfection with the work that you're creating, and so that you actually put stuff out, and then not being hung up on getting bids or sales, or else it just isn't fun anymore, right?
Yeah, it can be tough sometimes, but I tell everyone just like, please just try to push through. Like, come on, you just gotta get out of your head sometimes. I know it sucks being there.
Yeah. So like you just It's not like you have any tricks aside. Like you look at other people's work, but if that doesn't work, you just kind of let the feeling subside when it subsides, or do you just like go in there and like get stuff in Blender anyway?
It's either a mix of like me messing around with like just different stuff in Blender. Like for example, my newest piece, Planet Lala, it was just me messing around, like, and then it
Yeah,
just
I
started
want to go
becoming
here.
good.
Like I want to be there. It looks
Oh man,
awesome.
I wish.
um, Actually, I see that you use Blender in that piece. Is there? But DC was asking, which app do you use to create your work? Is Blender primarily what you use?
Uh, well, yeah, it's mostly Blender, but I know people know that Blender have different render engines. So, and people always ask me what render engine I use, and like I always tell them like there's no specific render engine. My work involves any render engine in Blender at this point. Like I use everything. There's no solid like type thing, but most of my work right now is Blender Octane, but like a few pieces here and there are Blender Cycles or like Blender Eevee. It's just a mix.
Cool. Yeah, I feel like every program, it like has its own purpose, and there's like pros and cons to each one, and like you kind of have to cherry pick different tools from them as you go. Plus, it's good to just know how to use different tools. QFN is asking, what's your Rocket League rank?
I'm Plat 2, QFN.
I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. I have to be honest, but cool. um, so can you talk a little bit about like your technical process? I see you have a couple of things in ArtStation. Like, do you do pencil sketches first, or you just go dive right in to Blender and just start going?
Honestly, I should probably start doing sketches, but like I usually just hop right into Blender and I just imagine something in my head. You know, it's nothing concrete. I can't really. I suck at drawing. I can't do traditional art. Like unless you want stick figures, I can give you that.
But still, like it's really impressive to know how to do 3D art. Like I was trained in traditional art and I don't know how to do any of this. I find it like really, it's like wizardry to me, this kind of work, and just knowing the hours that it takes to do 3D art. I'm always just like, I have a lot of respect for 3D artists and the patience that it must take to accomplish anything as a 3D artist. Yeah, that looks like a lot.
Oh man, it's a lot of patience. It's just sometimes a piece can come and go really quickly. Like nothing goes wrong. Like oh man, nothing went wrong, and then you have another piece. It's just like every other thing goes wrong. You add something, the whole thing breaks. It's just
that's so frustrating. Do you have like patience with that? Or I guess sometimes you want to scream, but I feel like there are some people that just have like this well of patience, and they're just like, it is what it is. It does that sometimes, and they can just keep going. But I know when InDesign crashes when I'm working on something, it's really hair raising for me. Like if it doesn't save or something like that, it's so
tough.
heartbreaking. Especially with 3D art too. I mean, like, you know, looking at all these like layers of color and reflections that you're creating, and then to have that not work out and then you have to do it all over again. No, this doesn't sound like something I could do. So, but this is like, your compositions are really awesome, and there's a lot of depth, and just, yeah, it flows. It looks really great. So this is cool. I thought that you did some kind of storyboard sketches or something before you did them. So kudos to you, I guess.
Thank you.
So what do you think about the hype that's happening with NFTs now, like with a lot of celebrities coming into the space? Do you think that it's a positive thing in general for the space, or do you have other thoughts?
I see it. I try to be open-minded and see it both ways. Like I understand a celebrity comes in and they make like a cash grab. Everyone's like, oh, like there's artists out here that are spending weeks, months on a piece of art, and then some celebrity just comes in and makes like $1 million, for example, or whatever on some thing they made in a night. And like I don't know, but like at the same time, any publicity is good publicity for NFTs. Like it's just spreading the word. More artists are coming in every day. So I'm kind of at the mid ground. I don't try to like bash people or anything.
Yeah. I think that's the right attitude. I totally agree. Like, these celebrities are bringing attention to the space that wasn't there before, and I think that even if they're not actively promoting, these other artists and creators that have been doing this for a couple of years now, just their presence and their attention is bringing more eyes to other people's work. So, I overall see it as a good thing. And then there's some celebrities that I've noticed, who are like, I won't mention names, but I saw they did a drop and I was surprised that there just weren't that many bids on it. And, I thought that they would have done a lot better, but maybe there just wasn't a lot of time put into like getting to know the community and like letting the community know like, hey, I'm doing this thing. It was just like a very fast and furious drop. So I feel like sometimes even if you do have a big name, like you're not even making millions, like there seems to be no formula for like an exact formula for success in this space. But
a lot of people come into this space and they're all expecting to make like money to rain down from the sky or whatever. Like I know a lot of artists in chats, they're like, oh, I'm gonna get into NFTs. They're like, I see you selling all your artwork for this, that, and that. Oh, it seems like it seems like it's so easy to make money or whatever. I'm like, it is not what it seems. You gotta have a lot of patience, a lot of like dedication to your craft and perfecting your craft.
I mean, that's awesome that, all four of, like, you've only been in space for 4 months and all 4 of your pieces have sold on Foundation, and that you have a Foundation invitation as a 16-year-old. Like, that's awesome. Like, so you're doing pretty great for yourself. That's 4 of 4 sold. Like, some people are sitting here, like, their first NFT is still sitting there waiting for a home. So, I think, like you said, creating, you have a relationship with a lot of people that you admire and you work with them. And I think that, they say, I hear people using the word community all the time in the space, but it's really true that you have to develop authentic relationships with other people here, or else people are they're just going to pass over your work,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is next for you? Do you have any upcoming projects or events or drops that you'd like us to know about?
I have a project coming up with another designer named Stabs. We have a little duel in the work. That's about it.
A duel?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I just finished my La La Land piece. Like I literally just finished it like a day ago. So I don't have much going for me. Like usually when I post art, I try to take a couple of days to relax, recuperate, like taking all my thoughts, inspiration. I go right back at it within like 3 days, 4 days.
That's awesome. That's a really good cycle though to keep going like once a week about. That's like a really good rhythm, I think, for putting work out. And is there like a release date for this duel, or you're just going to keep going on? This Planet Lala is part of this duel with Stabs? Or no?
No, I did that all by myself. I just
okay.
Stabs is like one of my friends. I've known him like he was one of those people that I basically grew up with in the Fortnite community, if you could put it that way. Like me and him, we were just always there, like always collabing, always like posting our work and just feeding off of each other, helping each other get bigger. And now that we're both in the NFT space, we were like, why not collab? I mean, we've always done it in the past. Why not collab again?
That's awesome. I can't wait to see it. So, do you have a release date for it, or it's just like sometime in May?
I just posted, so I might since I have this rhythm of like posting once a week, I think I might just do it next week, like Wednesday-ish, probably. I don't have anything specific in mind yet.
Okay, cool. So, and do you don't know where you're going, which platform you're going to mint this work on? Or is like, where's the best place for people to follow you and keep up with, to find out like when this duel is underway?
Right now I am on Foundation only, pretty much, but I have applied to Known Origin. I did that about a month ago, so if they respond by then, we'll see.
Yeah, I know they're a little backed up with requests or applications, but wishing you luck with that. I'm sure that you'll get in. Your work is really great.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna post Elec's links one more time, and thank you so much for being here with us and telling us about your process, and keep us posted about what's going on with you. And everybody follow Elec everywhere. I've posted all his links, and wishing you all a magical evening, and have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Bye.